Welcome back, minions, to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy V Four Job Fiesta. We last left off on RASAR and Krile had left Tycoon Castle, where Princess Lena and Princess Sarissa were both taking part in a banquet to celebrate their return to the castle. Well, how did we exactly return here? Well, we're gonna find out in this episode, but I mean, it does look like we're back in RASAR's world, but things have definitely changed. So we've seen a lot of change in the lay of the land. So something's up. So, and the pirates are all gone. So, and this guy's still looking at the dancing ladies. So some things haven't changed. But some of the dialogue here has changed with some folks, so we're gonna go talk with them and stuff. So, luckily we still can't get in any random encounters, which is good. But unfortunately, the weapon shops and stuff like that haven't changed, so they still have a whole bunch of like weak equipment. So, yeah, can't get anything new here. We get some new dialogue here, some interesting things about from this lady. Remember this is where we learned how to do some of the stuff, gave you a tutorial. Well, now that we're a little bit more advanced, we got a second tutorial that we're gonna get here. That one guy said, hey, if you think you're advanced, go talk with the greenhorn people. So, we'll go here. And this person is basically telling us the importance of what maxing jobs does. So, basically, the lowdown is, if you max a job, all the abilities inherent in that job will get transferred to your freelancer class, or the special class, the mime. So basically, once you master every job in the game, your freelancer class will basically become the strongest class, because it'll inherit all those innate abilities of all the different classes. So it'll have, like, the monk has the highest strength, so it'll have the highest strength value. It'll inherit the summoner's max magic points. It'll inherit the thief's high agility. So that, of course, doesn't really matter for us, because once again, we're doing the 4-job fiesta. We're not allowed to use the freelancer class. We're only allowed to use the 4 jobs that have been assigned to us, which are monk, summoner, ninja, and dragoon. So, of course, we still want to max the job. So, you know, if we want to have a nice ability to transfer to another job, we can. So, but, well, not much going on in Tool, so let's keep heading over this way. And here we're going to get into a little cutscene. So, seems that whenever Boko and RASAR travel through canyons, there's always a problem. Way back in the beginning of the game, remember they traveled through that canyon and they got ambushed by the goblins? Well, now they fell into a hole. Oh, man. Man, RASAR and Krile tend to, they fight a lot. Like a married couple or whatever. I wouldn't know about that because I've never been married. And my daddy hasn't been married either, so I don't know. But I just hear that, you know. But, uh-oh, what's this? Oh, no! Well, people familiar with Final Fantasy IV realize it's the Antlion! And, we have our first little boss here, so, I probably should have put RASAR in the back row, because he's mainly going to be, throwing, water, shurikens. The problem, is he'd probably do more damage if he just was attacking, but the monks, remember, the monk's attack power, is based on his level. So, what that Antlion did was it used that blue magic spell, Discord, and, well, no, that's not a blue magic spell. Dark Shark is the blue magic spell, but, it does the same thing. It divides the level by 2. So, because, and that affects RASAR's, attack power. As you can see in his counterattacks there, he's basically doing, like, no damage, because his level has been halved. So, yeah, it messed up his damage calculations, so probably should have thrown him in the back row, because then he'd be taking half damage. He's basically having to eat all the counterattacks here from the Antlion, because Krile's mainly in the air, jumping. So, but I'll move him back there eventually. So, digestive juice that takes a little bit of hit points off, but it incurs the sap effect. The sap effect means that the hit points are slowly going to be draining over time. So if you notice, like, Krile and RASAR's hit points will slowly drop down. But not anymore, because we've defeated the antlion. Woohoo! But even though we've defeated the antlion, we're stuck in this nest. What are we going to do? Oh no, our adventure can't end now. We still have so much more to learn. We have to learn about what's going on here in the world, and you know, what's going to happen with no more crystals. So here we're in another one of these situations where we just have to sit around and wait for a little bit. We can talk with Boko and walk around. But eventually we're going to get a little prompt, and a rope appears. Who could it be? Well, remember back, who do we know that carries rope around with them? Well, if you remember back on the Northern Mountain, way back when we went to try to find the Windrake, King Tycoon's Windrake. Remember, Faris fell down that hole, and she was able to escape because she had some rope. And then she threw the rope across and was able to get RASAR and Galuf across the thing to help Lena. So, yep, it's Faris, or Princess Sarissa. Not me, of course. I'm just named after this princess. But yeah, it's Princess Sarissa, Faris to the rescue. And that was nice of RASAR to let them save Boko first. But yeah, apparently Princess Sarissa, or Faris here, she used her pirate skills to escape the castle. You know what she was saying earlier, that she didn't really like, necessarily being a princess. She's, kind of more of a tomboy. She liked the pirating life. So, And then RASAR and Krile both arguing over who's the one who said to leave. So, well, I guess they're both, to blame. Krile gave the idea, saying that, hey, there's still more we need to do. And RASAR was the one, well, let's go get my chocobo and run around. So, I think they both share the blame equally. But it's okay. Everyone's still friends. And, we get to, continue on adventuring. Now with a party, with our party somewhat complete, or a little bit closer to completion, because Miss Faris has joined us back again. No, what's this? Ooh, Krile got a splinter. Ouch. Ooh, better take care of that. Don't get infected. Now, we're pretty much, there's only one way to go here, but when we were talking with those people back in Tool, one of the people said that, they saw like a mutant turtle in a cave, around here. So, let's head to that cave. And we're gonna head on in here, and what kind of mutant turtle do we know of? Hey, this is the, looks like the entrance to Sage, Guido's, place. And it is, and luckily we don't have to go through that whole dungeon again, so. We just head in here and, hey, Guido, he's on his back. Let's flip him over. Boop. Good job, RASAR. Saving the turtle. I break for turtles. So what's this? Guido finally tells us what happened. The two worlds merged together. So yeah, if you took the world of RASAR's world and Galuf's world's map and laid them on top of each other, you would get the third world here, which is the merged world. So, and here we're gonna learn about why the world split. Basically, what happened was there was this evil power called the Void. There was an evil wizard, Enou. And he tried to use the power of the Void to, basically destroy the world and take over everything. Well, these 12 heroes used 12 legendary weapons to defeat Enou, but then they had to seal the Void somewhere. So what they did was they took the crystals, they split them in two. So that's why there was a set of crystals in RASAR's world and a set of crystals in Galuf's world. And when they split the crystals, they also split the world in half. And when they split the world in half, there was, like, think about tearing something in half and then spreading the parts out. There's a little gap between there. Well, inside that gap, that's where they sealed the Void. So as long as the two worlds were merged apart, that gap would remain. But now that the crystals in both worlds have been destroyed, the gap is closed, and that means that the void has nowhere to go except for back into the real world. And apparently, that is what Exdeath's plan was all along. He wants the power of the void. And Exdeath, he's back. How is he back? Well, that's Splinter. He shrunk himself down into a little splinter. Remember, Exdeath is kind of a tree. He was a whole bunch. He's a conglomeration of all the evil spirits that were sealed in that one tree, and that became an entity all of its own. So, and now, remember that one guy on Tycoon Castle? He mentioned that, by the Spartacus is angry, that must be angry at Exdeath, because Exdeath's about to do something really, really evil. Yeah, remember that, one person, in Tycoon Castle? They were saying that there was this strange, like, thing above Tycoon Castle, like, a distortion. Well, that's apparently where the void, is seeping out. So, that's where the void is the strongest, so it's, seeping out there right now. And, it's causing a lot of trouble. And when the void is seeping out, what it's going to do is it's going to suck Castle Tycoon into it. Oh no! So now Castle Tycoon is gone. And that means Lena. Oh no! That's what I told you a long time ago. Remember, you have to get all the treasure in Tycoon Castle before we leave Tycoon Castle there, because there's no going back to Tycoon Castle. It's gone. Sucked into the void. But, yep. So now eventually we're gonna have to go into the void. So the void, the entrance to the void, when we're able to get there, will be the hole right above Tycoon Castle. We saw that little kind of black hole up here where Tycoon Castle was. Yeah, eventually the void is gonna, spoiler, it's gonna serve as the final dungeon of the game, and we're of course gonna have to go into it to defeat Exdeath eventually. But that's gonna be the entrance. So there's a pretty cute little throwback to nostalgia there. Sage Guido there fought Exdeath a little bit, and Exdeath's like, hey, you're pretty good. And Sage Guido was like, what? Of course I've been practicing. I haven't been just sitting around eating pizza all the time. That's a throwback to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that comic book from the 80s. Where the Turtles, they like to eat pizza. But despite Sage Guido, you know, not sitting on his, sitting in his shell for so many years, he's still no match for Exdeath. And Exdeath uses magical power to shoot us far, far away. But luckily, we land exactly where we need to be. What a coincidence. And apparently, we land outside the Library of Ancients. And Guido says there's a book there in the Library of Ancients that shows us how to defeat Exdeath. But before we learn about defeating Exdeath, let's learn a little bit how Rabbit and Small Animal Rescue is helping defeat, you know, people being mean to animals in the story of Cotton here. Yep, here's Cotton. Said he was a bad rabbit because he bit people, but Rabbit and Rescue think that he was just hurt by someone and scared. We'll learn more about him in a little bit. But first, let's learn more about the history of the two worlds. So, when the worlds merged, their maps, like I said, overlapped each other, and the Library of Ancients, where half of the ancient book was, appeared right next to Surgate Castle, which, where the other half of the book was. So the scholars from Surgate Castle, when they saw this library appear, they came over there, and between the two of them, they both have one half of the ancient book, and now they're able to combine the book just like the worlds combined. So remember in the ancient library, they kept saying, we have half a book, but we can't make out the rest because we're missing half, and the scholars in Surgate Castle said the same thing. Well, now we're able to combine the books, and we're going to learn what we can do to defeat Exdeath. So, here's Guido being kind of funny here. He's talking about the legendary weapons. The 12 legendary weapons. They are weapons, they are legendary, and there are 12 of them. But yes, so the plan is that we are far too weak to, confront the power of the Void, because when the Void was sealed, all the evil monsters in the Void were also sealed with it. So there's a lot of tough monsters in there. So just as the legendary heroes used the 12 weapons to defeat Enou 1,000 years ago, well, now Guido's like, well, we need to unseal those weapons and use their power to then go in and defeat Exdeath in the Void. But apparently to unseal the 12 legendary weapons, we're going to have to get 4 tablets. And each of the tablets will allow us to break the seal on 3 of the legendary weapons. So you can choose which ones you want when you want them. So, and each of the tablets is guarded in 4 different dungeons. And the ancient book here will allow us to open up those dungeons. And it tells us where all the dungeons are. One, they're all basically elemental dungeons. One is in the desert, the earth. One is in a shrine in the sea touched by the wind. That's the wind, like a wind shrine. One is under the water in an underwater volcano, fire. And then one is in a waterfall. So that's the power of water. So now our goal is to find those 4 tablets, and that allows us to unseal all of the legendary weapons. Now, just like we can't use all the classes in the game, we won't be able to use all the legendary weapons, because some legendary weapons are only exclusive to certain classes, like the Fire Whip can only be used by the Beastmaster. There's 2 Samurai Katanas, only used by the Samurai. A Knight Sword, only used by the Knight. Staff only used by the White Mage, but some of the ones we'll be able to use. We'll pick up one Ninja Knife, we'll pick up the Holy Spear for the Dragoon, and then we'll probably pick up the Wonder Wand, because that'll help with the Summoners. So, and then we'll just get other ones that as they see fit, but there's no legendary weapon for the Monk, because his legendary weapons are his left and right hand, so. But remember when back in RASAR's world, this guy, if we talk with him, he just tells us that, hey, he can reread the book. So if you forget where the stuff is, the scholars will reread it for you. So this guy's never moving down, so we gotta move out of the way for him. But anyway, remember back in RASAR's world, near the Temple of the Ancients was the desert. And so the desert is where the first of our tablet dungeons is going to be, the Pyramid of Moor. So now I'm going to give a little spoiler here, but see this guy? We have to talk with this guy first, and you have to talk with him now before you beat the Pyramid dungeon. This guy's going to give you a bard song. We can't use the bard song, but if you have a bard, you want to make sure you want to talk with this guy to get this song. It increases your magical ability when you sing it. Because eventually, we're not going to be able to access the ancient library anymore. So, but, yeah, once we defeat the Pyramid of Moor dungeon, yeah, we won't be able to come back here, so, you gotta get it now, so. And there's Sergei Castle. We can head into Sergei Castle and talk with some folks. I'll eventually come back here and refill my heal potions as well, because my high potions are pretty much empty. And this Dungeon of Moor, this Pyramid of Moor, I mean, well, it basically is a dungeon. Yeah, it's pretty tough. It's long and it's tough. What is it with pyramid dungeons? They always seem really tough. I'm thinking of the Pyramid in Dragon Warrior 3. That was a tough one. Prince Ernie, he conquered that one though, so. But we'll see him eventually. I gotta re-upload that video series with Prince Ernie. Now we went ahead back in here, do this whole little mini quest here where we shelf these books again. Because when we were in Galuf's world, there was a treasure room, and there was a man in the treasure room, and he was blocking off some treasure. So if we're going for the 100% treasure completion, we're going to have to come back here and do this little mini quest again, just to be able to get that one treasure. So put them all back in their right bookshelves. And then that's gonna let this lady be able to like go back to her room, and when she does that, she opens up the doorway, the secret passageway that'll allow us to get to that treasure room. So there's the treasure room over there to the right. There's the lady. Yay, no problem. So, well, we already got that magic, the magic of float. That's if we head out this side. If we go out that door, we can get to that one secret area. So there's the secret treasure we missed, the cottage. So it was hidden in that little box, that crate there. So, but now we got it, and now we can just step out for a little bit here. And we got a few new monsters. Now that the worlds have combined and created a whole new world, we got a whole bunch of new monsters running around. One of the interesting things about the monsters in this world is if you have a blue mage, your level 3 flare will come in real handy. A majority of the monsters in this world have levels multiple of 3. So that level 3 flare will do a lot of damage. So, and over here down this way is the we got a few more people to talk with. And this is the way to the weapon shops and the weapon shops and the item shops in the inn. So we'll sell a few of our things, and yeah, nothing new. So after I do a little bit of grinding, well, not necessarily grinding, but after I do a little bit of the whatchamacallit, finding the rare monsters or the new monsters, then I'll come back here and fill up my inventory with the high potions. See, running a little low on them, but alright, we'll be back though. So, and I'll just do that off screen when I need to. So, but now let's step out. We got a few monsters that I want to get to, fill out the bestiary. And they're all pretty much located near here, so. And around this way, and what do we got here first? We got the python there. The snake enemy over there to the right. Like most reptiles, lizard type enemies, it will be weak to ice. That big guy over on the left is the elm gigas. It doesn't work here initially, but they're pretty susceptible to the stone status effect. And so that's what that Cattlebus summon does. So if you run into them, it didn't work all the time, but it has probably a greater than 50% chance of working. So, and they have a lot of hit points. You'll see when their stats come up. So the shadow is that weird looking bear thing there that's like kind of ripping a hole out of the fabric of space and time. So fight him, take him out. And then once we defeat him, then I'll put up the stats for the elm gigas. There we go, and you can see he has over 4,000 hit points, but like I said, he's floating, so we can't use the Titan, our strongest summon, but he does have tends to have that weakness to the stone, so let's see if we use the Cattlebus summon again, and see if we can, we'll try to turn him to stone. Keep pounding on him here a little bit here. Oh man, that was a bad hit right there. He used the arrow spell and he absorbs the arrow, so it bounced back. So, see if we can try to turn him to stone. I'll turn you into stone. Let's see. Oh. Woohoo! Yep, if the pig thing appears, then you know it's gonna work. Boink! Instantly defeated. Woohoo! There we go. And there are, that's three more enemies down. Got to heal up, better heal myself up here. Take advantage of the free healing while you can. Because like I said, we're not going to be able to use the ancient library, visit it too far into the future here, so. use our free healing while we can. And let's go hunt down a few more of those new enemies in this area. So now we know what the warders look like, so we want to head up going toward Guido's cave. Same 3 enemies we ran into there. The python, the shadow, and the elm skeetus. And here we have 2 more new enemies. So we have the sleepy mage there, who appropriately casts sleep. And then the hedgehog there is that little purple guy, so... As you can see, the stone spell works pretty good on those guys, so... There's the sleepy right there. It's, common steel is the healing staff. That's a really good staff. We weren't able to use it, though, in this playthrough. We didn't have anybody who could use it, but check out my last playthrough, Four Job Fiesta, and you'll see just how good it is. Basically, it's like a free heal, cure 2 spell, so... There's a little hedgehog there. Nothing to write home about. Woohoo! And now we have just 1 more new enemy in this area. So, basically this one's encountered more toward Guido's cave. And there it is, the Triffid. So, that was an old science fiction story, the Battle of the Night of the Triffids. So, these people made like a plant, and turns out that these plants are kind of evil and were eating people. So, the Triffids. My daddy rented that audiobook for his driving a car one time. So when he was going to work, he'd listen to it. So that's how he knows about that story. So libraries are good places to go. You can get books, you can get CDs that listen to books on CDs. So. My daddy used to go to the Wibbly Library, because remember President Phibbs, every library is named after Wibbly, so... Like most tree enemies, once again the Triffid is weak against fire, so let's summon a freak. Unfortunately, I haven't been using I haven't been equipping the rods on Faris there, because I've been using the knife. The air knife will be really good for the next summon that we get. So, we're gonna eventually get a wind summon, and it'll be our strongest summon, so we're gonna boost it up with the knife, so. Knife is one of the few, rods that, or the few items that is wind elemental, and will actually boost this summon that we're gonna get eventually, so. I went back into Sergei Castle there, healed up, got a whole bunch of new, potions, so I maxed out my high potions. Because this dungeon that we're going to go into is long and full of lots of enemies, so it's important that we have a whole bunch of things, so. And hey, here we got this guardian tree from the Forest of Moor. So, it's weird how this guardian tree was in Galuf's world was in a forest, you know, teeming with life, but in the RASAR's world, it's roughly the same area, was a desert, so. But now we're going to head over into that desert that I was just mentioning about. And we have a few new enemies. We have 2 new enemies there in the desert to find. It's in the desert. It's a very dry place. There's no rain. No rain in the desert. But right now, where I'm at right now, as I'm doing this video recording, it's raining right now. And that's why you hear in the background, you might hear Spargus, my brother, growling. He's scared of the rain. I know I shouldn't be making fun of him, but even though he lives inside and he only goes out for walks, he's still scared of the rain for some reason. So he likes to growl at the rain. I guess he thinks that if he growls at the rain, it'll go away. He's not very smart. He should listen to more Sciences for Milo with my brother Arthur. Yeah. But now here's the desert. We have 2 new enemies here in the desert that we want to run into. The desert peas here, weak against ice. Surprisingly, not against water. So desert enemies tend to be weak against water, but these enemies in this area are weak against ice, so we'll just use our Shiva summon. No. Scorpion hit me with his tail. Not very nice. 2 Shiva Shermans should be enough to take these guys out. Can throw in a few kicks or two. Whew. Yeah, elemental summons ain't going too strong anymore. Enemies are getting a whole lot more hit points, so... Before they used to be able to one-shot, so... Now they're basically 2 or 3 shotting, so... Alright. One more new enemy to run into here. We have free reign of the desert, because, with the earth crystals on both worlds gone, yeah, this desert sand is no longer flowing. Here's the final new enemy in the desert, the bullet. The land shark, basically. Not too tough. Easier than the scorpions, so... We'll take him out pretty easy here. He only has 1,000 hit points, so... But I'll knock him out. And he's done. Woohoo! Now we can head into the pyramid, so... I thought about maybe saving the game here, but, before I, heal up, there's, every one of these 4 dungeons we're gonna have to go into, there's gonna be a guardian, and each of them are guarded by this pair of gargoyles. So I figured, well, before I use the cottage to heal myself up entirely, I'll show off these guardians here. So here are the gargoyles. Their gimmick is very similar to those, Pearl Boss enemies that guarded the adamantite, back in the, first world, when we were gathering, the adamantite to warp to Galuf's world. Their gimmick is you have to basically defeat them both at the same time. If you don't defeat them at the same time, whatever one is alive is going to use the Arise spell on the other and restore it back to full hit points. So we just want to basically use multi-targeting attacks, so Krile ain't going to be too, you know, good here, because she can only single target. But if you do have forced to single target, what I was going to do is I'm going to have like Krile jump on one and then jump on the other one the opposite time, so that roughly they're at the same hit point level. But thankfully we don't have to worry about that, because RASAR right there did a counter attack and pretty much did, well, not as much, but enough damage to almost counterbalance the damage that Krile did there. So about 400, 500 less, but enough that we can put them both in range for Faris' summon to finish them off. So, like I said, right now we're just going to, you know, avoid attacking them, so that we can have, you know, Faris' summon finish them both off at the same time. So, boink! Well, you didn't have to even worry with that. RASAR's thing managed to do it, so. Woohoo! And with that, the sealed book opens, a page rips out, and that breaks the seal on this dungeon. But of course, before we head back into this dungeon, because it's very, very long and tough, we'll head out, save our game, heal up with this cottage, and I'll meet you back here in this dungeon in our next episode. Thanks a lot, take care, and let's finish out with more of Cotton's story. So as you can see, Cotton was kind of scared about, you know, people, but after 2.5 days at the rescue, he's starting to learn how to trust people. And yep, so the rabbit and small animal rescue is going to work really hard with Cotton and with all animals they take in who maybe will come from neglected situations, to turn them into happier animals, so eventually they can be adopted out and find a forever home where they can be loved and cared for. And if you would like to help Rabbit and Small Animal Rescue, I've included a link to their homepage in the video description. You can go there and click on a link. That'll take you to where you can do a PayPal donation. Thank you, take care, have a good day, bye!